in the heart of the verdant expanse, where emerald forest whispered secrets older than time. A young wanderer named Elara trudged through the undergrowth. Her boots sank into the mossy earth, and her cloak snagged on thorny vines. At 17, Elara was no stranger to hardship. Orphaned at a young age, she survived by her wits, scavenging relics from forgotten ruins to sell in the bustling markets of Soulspire. But today was different. Today, she carried a relic unlike any other, a lantern. Its glass etched with runes that pulsed faintly with an otherworldly light. Asterisk Elara had found it in the crumbling temple of Etherian, a place shunned even by the boldest relic hunters. Legend spoke of the lantern as a key to the Ethervale, a mystical barrier separating the mortal world from a realm of boundless power. Some said it granted wishes. Others warned it unleashed curses. Elara didn't care about myths. She cared about the coin it would fetch, or so she told herself. Asterisk as dust painted the sky in hues of amber and violet, she reached the clearing. The lantern, slung over her shoulder, grew heavier, its glow intensifying. She set it down, wiping sweat from her brow. Just a trinket, she muttered, though her heart raced. The runes seemed to read, as if alive. She reached to touch them, but a voice sharp and melodic cut through the silence. Asterisk, I wouldn't do that, wanderer. Asterisk Elara spun, her dagger drawn in an instant. Before her stood a figure cloaked in silver, their face hidden beneath a hood. Only their eyes were visible, glinting like polished obsidian. Who are you? Elara demanded, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. Asterisk called me Silas, the figure said, stepping closer. And you've stumbled upon something far beyond your understanding. Asterisk Elara tightened her grip on the dagger. I found it fair and square. It's mine to sell. Asterisk Silas laughed, a sound like wind chimes. Sell the lantern of Etherian? You'd sooner sell your soul. That light doesn't belong to you or anyone. It chooses its keeper. Asterisk Elara scoffed, but the lantern's glow pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. She glanced at it, unease creeping in. What do you want? Asterisk to warn you, Silas said, their tone softening. The lantern's light draws the hollow ones. They'll come for it and you unless you learn to wield its power. Asterisk hollow ones. Elara's skepticism wavered. She'd heard tales of shadow creatures that hunted relics, but she dismissed them as campfire stories. Asterisk you'll see soon enough, Silas said. Follow me, or stay, and face them alone. Asterisk Elara hesitated. She didn't trust the stranger, but the forest felt wrong. The air grew heavy, the shadows lengthening unnaturally. A low hum emanated from the lantern, vibrating through her bones. Against her better judgment, she nodded. Lead the way. Asterisk Silas guided her through the forest, moving with uncanny grace. They spoke little, but their presence was reassuring, like a candle in a storm. As they trekked deeper, the trees grew gnarled, their branches twisting into shapes that resembled anguished faces. Elara's grip on the lantern tightened. Its light now cast eerie patterns on the ground, forming symbols she couldn't decipher. Asterisk they reached a stone archway, half swallowed by vines. Beyond it lay a sunken courtyard, its flagstones cracked, but glowing faintly with the same runes as the lantern. Silas knelt, tracing a symbol with their finger. This is a sanctuary, they said. The hollow ones cannot enter. Rest here tonight. Asterisk Elara set the lantern down, her arms aching. Tell me about these hollow ones and the lantern. No riddles. Asterisk Silas lowered their hood, revealing a face both youthful and ancient, with silver hair and eyes that held centuries of sorrow. The hollow ones are remnants of those who sought the Ethervale's power and failed. They're neither alive nor dead, bound to the lantern's light. As for the lantern, Silas paused, glancing at it. It's a fragment of the veil itself, a conduit to the Etherian. It grants visions, knowledge, even power, but only to those it deems worthy. Asterisk, and if it doesn't, Elara asked, her voice barely a whisper. Asterisk, it consumes them. Asterisk, Elara's stomach churned. She wanted to hurl the lantern into the forest and run, but something curiosity, desperation. Or perhaps the lantern's pull kept her rooted. Why me? I'm nobody. Asterisk, Silas studied her. The lantern chose you. That's no accident. But you must choose it back, or it will destroy you. Asterisk, that night, Elara couldn't sleep. The lantern's glow bathed the courtyard in an ethereal light, and she felt it watching her. She thought of her life in Soulspire scraping by, always looking over her shoulder, never belonging. What if the lantern offered more? A purpose? She shook her head. I just want to survive, she whispered. Asterisk, at dawn, the forest screamed. A chilling wail echoed, followed by the sound of snapping branches. Silas was on their feet in an instant, a blade of shimmering light in their hand. They're here. Asterisk, Elara grabbed the lantern and her dagger, heart-pounding. Shadows slithered into the courtyard's edge, their forms humanoid, but wrong limbs too long. Faces featureless save for glowing eyes. The hollow ones, the lantern flared, its light searing the nearest creature, which shrieked and dissolved into ash. The asterisk hold it high. Silas shouted, slashing at another. The light is your weapon. Asterisk, Elara raised the lantern, her hands trembling. Its glow intensified, driving the hollow ones back, but each pulse drained her energy. She felt the lantern's power coursing through her, both exhilarating and terrifying. I can't keep this up. She yelled at Asterisk, you must. Silas countered, their blade a blur. Focus, feel its rhythm. Asterisk, Elara closed her eyes, blocking out the chaos. She felt the lantern's hum, steady like a heartbeat. She matched her breathing to it, and the drain lessened. The light stabilized, forming a protective dome around them. The hollow ones wailed, retreating into the forest. Asterisk, Silas lowered their blade, panting. Well done. You're stronger than you know. Asterisk, Elara glared at them, exhaustion mingling with anger. You could have warned me it had tried to kill me. Asterisk, Silas smirked. Would you have believed me? Asterisk, they traveled for days. The lantern guiding them to the Ethereum's hotter hidden grove where the veil shimmered. Like a curtain of starlight. Along the way, Elara learned to wield the lantern's light, though each use left her weaker. Silas taught her its history, crafted by the first seers. It was meant to breed worlds, but greed corrupted its purpose. Birthing the hollow ones, only a true keeper could restore its balance. Asterisk, as they neared the grove, Elara's doubts grew. She wasn't a hero. She was a scavenger, a survivor. Yet the lantern's visions showed her glimpses of a different life leading others, healing the land, finding a home. Each vision felt like a promise, but also a trap. Asterisk, in the grove, the veil pulsed with energy. Silas gestured to a pedestal at its center. Place the lantern there. It will test you. Pass, and you'll wield its true power. Fail, and Asterisk, Elara swallowed. I become one of them. Asterisk, Silas nodded. You can walk away now. Live your life. The lantern will find another. Asterisk, Elara stared at the veil, its light reflecting in her eyes. She thought of her parents, lost to a plague, of the nights spent hungry, of the loneliness that clung to her like damp cloth. The lantern offered a chance to be more, but at what cost? Asterisk, she stepped forward, placing the lantern on the pedestal. The veil fled, and she was pulled into a vision. She stood in a vast void, the lantern floating before her. A voice her own, yet not spoke. What do you seek? Asterisk, purpose, she whispered. A reason to keep going. Asterisk, the void shifted, showing her leading a band of relic hunters. Rebuilding Soulspire, healing the verdant expanse. But then it darkened her, wielding the lantern's power to conquer, to destroy. Power tempts soul, the voice said. Choose. Asterisk, Elara's hand shook. She could take the power, become unstoppable. Or she could reject it, remain herself. She reached for the lantern, feeling its warmth. I choose to protect, she said, not to rule. Astris, the vision shattered. Elara awoke in the grove, the lantern dim but whole. Silas smiled. You passed. Astris, the Hollow Ones, never returned. Elara kept the lantern, using its light to guide lost travelers and heal blighted lands. She never became rich, but she found something better, a home in the expanse, and a family among those she helped. Silas vanished, but Elara felt their presence in the lantern's glow, a reminder that she was never truly alone.